Kirstin Hancock, and she is the founder and head of marketing, CMO, marketing director of Blue Maestro. Over to you, Kirstin.
Excellent. Hi, everyone. I can't see anything that's going on in the room, but I have been able to hear the discussions that have been going on earlier. It sounds like Lightlog is doing amazing work, and yeah, I loved the last speaker talking about the whole organic growth of how IoT can fit into the whole ecosystem of the world. So that was really amazing. So, you know, thanks very much for that. I love Edinburgh. I have to tell you all that. I am actually an immigrant. So I'm an immigrant from New Zealand. I've lived in London now for 16 years. I came over here in 2000, just after I got married. But I'm from a place in New Zealand called Dunedin. And Dunedin, I don't know if any of you have been there, raise your hand if you have, but I can't tell how many Dunedin is based on Edinburgh. And one of the, in the middle of Dunedin, there is an octagon. The shape of the square is an octagon, and there is actually a statue of Robbie Burns in it. So right from when I was very little, I knew of Edinburgh, and obviously I've been there lots of different times. I remember the Highlands of Scotland very well, and I'm very fond of Callander, which is just up the road from where you all live. But I guess I'm here today to talk to you about what I'm doing in the wearable space. It's a really exciting space to be in. I founded Blue Maestro just over 3 years ago, and I thought so that you could get a little bit of a feel of who we are, I put a video in the chat, Simon. Are you able to play that? What's Simon doing?
He's actually at the little boys' room. It's over here. We're just going to see if we can.
I can play it from my end. And then I'll just share my screen so you can see it. Okay?
Sorry, I was on Facebook. I'm kidding, I wasn't. That's a lie. What's going on?
Okay, I'm going to play a video. Can you see my screen yet?
You need to.
No.
Don't worry, we'll connect it in a second.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
The showcase class has given us increased exposure.
I can hear you, yeah. I can hear you.
Alright, I can play the video here now.
Okay, you play the video and then let me know when you're done. I'll just mute myself, so.
Is this all the way to the end?
Yes, please.
We've had our product on display up in the foyer of Digital Catapult in the centre of London. We've enjoyed the media contacts that we've made. We've been able to network extensively with other people in the showcase.
Can you go to the beginning? Because that's right at the end.
Drawing on the expertise of the staff of the Digital Catapult who've been invaluable.
We can come for the comedy.
Blue Maestro is into health and environmental monitoring, generally using the smartphone as an interface. We've got programmers all over the world, so Scrum meetings are very interesting. We've got a number of health products that we're working on, as well as consumer and commercial general sensing devices. How we bring IoT to life is to incorporate sensors into everyday objects. A pacifier is a good example. But it's not just providing raw data, we're trying to provide useful data.
This is Pacif-I, the world's first smart pacifier. Pacif-I records your baby's temperature, it time and date stamps it so that you have a historical record that can be shared with others. You can enter any medication that you give your child within the app so that you can see any trends in the baby's temperature when you've given them medication. You can personalise the app, you can add different profiles so you can have more than one child within the app.
You can also tether Pacif-I to your iOS or Android device so that if you do lose it, you can find it easily.
Our philosophy around our devices is to make them very easy to implement into broader systems. Blue Maestro has developed a range of sensors called Tempo Disc. They come in a variety of different sensor configurations. They're about the size of a 50p piece. They have a sensor and a Bluetooth chip in them, so they communicate with smartphones and can be communicated to the internet through a gateway. And they monitor different things. So they can have a temperature sensor to measure temperature, they can do humidity, they can do acceleration, so movement or something dropping, they can do light, and they can do sound. We're about to kick off a project with Transport for London where we're measuring the vibration of gearboxes on rolling stock on the London Underground. The showcase for us has given us increased exposure. We've had our product on display up in the foyer of Digital Catapult in the centre of London. We've enjoyed the media contacts that we've made. We've been able to network extensively with other people in the showcase, and we've enjoyed drawing on the expertise of the staff at the Digital Catapult who have been invaluable. IoT is heading where if something isn't connected, people are going to be surprised. A lot of the real growth in IoT will be applying sensors for very specific use cases, and that's where Blue Maestro is heading.
So what we do is we quantify others, things, and spaces. And we started shipping the world's first connected Pacif-I in January this year. We ship all over the world now, as far as Australia, New Zealand, Asia, States, into Europe, UAE, all over the place. It's really, really an exciting time for connected baby products. And let me just tell you a little bit about how I developed the product, Pacif-I. About 4 years ago, I was working as a deputy head teacher in a London city school. That's my background in education. I worked for about 16 years as a classroom teacher and then sort of worked my way up into managed schools, etc. And I was thinking of getting a job closer to home because I actually live in Surrey, about an hour and a half out of London. And I decided that I would get a job close to home so that it would be much easier. I wouldn't have to commute and I'd be able to get home to the other two girls quicker. And then I fell pregnant with my youngest, Olivia. And I decided that I wasn't going to keep traveling in and out because it was just a complete ball ache. It was just awful. And so I resigned from my post, fell pregnant, had Olivia, then sort of got really bored at home. And at the time, my husband was working for RBS. Yes, that Scottish bank that is based in Edinburgh. And he wasn't happy doing that. So we were sort of at this time in our lives where we were really looking for alternatives and what we were going to do and thinking about life and thinking about, you know, really doing something compelling that we could really get our teeth into. And at the time, we'd invested in some tech startups, and I'd actually worked for a little while in the IT department in Sydney for Ernst & Young. So, you know, tech was always in the background. And then so I started Blue Maestro, and then we started developing our sense ranges. So our tempo disc range, and we started just doing those in temperature, and then temperature and humidity, and then temperature and humidity, barometric pressure, and then a gateway. And then when Olivia was about, my youngest was, so I had 3 little ones at this stage. Olivia was about 12 months. She became very poorly and she was sick a lot. And I had several trips to A&E with her at the local hospital because she had seizures and fits and was very, very unwell. So there was just this aha moment one day where I said to myself, bloody hell, I need a pacifier that does this. Why is there nothing on the market that does this? So I spent probably about 3 to 6 months just researching pacifiers and digital pacifiers and then I just said, well, why can't we put Bluetooth technology into a pacifier and then make a product so that we can record a baby's temperature? And I'd been going backwards and forwards to my GP and my doctor, had this really absurd conversations with my GP about, what time did you take your temperature? Yeah.
It's getting worse. Your microphones are crackling.
Okay. Right. I'm going to take my external mic out.
Some fabric or something.
Is this much better?
Carrie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Is this clearer?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So so how much of that did you hear?
All of it.
Oh, great. Okay. So you've heard the story. So I was going backwards and forwards from my GP with this scrappy little piece of paper, with all these different notes on it. And she was saying to me, well, what you really need is you need to have a record of what the effect is on any medication you give her. And so that's really how the product came about. And it took about 3 years to develop the product. We still were sort of tweaking little bits of it and playing with the apps, etc. But it's a great little wearable device that has been received well. We exhibited Pacif-I at CES in 2015 and had huge media attention all over the world, and that sort of really parachuted us off to make the product and make it the best product that we possibly could. So you probably saw from the video, we do, there's a time quote said, "This gadget may change parenting forever." And I actually had a call from a mum of it's quite a sad story, really. She had twins, twins, and one of the twins died, and the other one was very poorly. And she called me the other day and said, thank you so much. This has really made a difference in knowing exactly what their little one's temperature was. So she said it has been life-changing for them. Yeah. So we make some other products, Tempo Disc, which you saw in the video a little bit about, and these have been. We're working with a university in the Netherlands that use these as a wearable to measure the body temperature of pregnant women and how that affects their state of well-being, which is quite an interesting project. But there's so many different use cases for this product that are coming out now. It's it's being used in shipping, transportation, storage, in museums, in art galleries. I even had one guy who was writing about using Tempo in storage of his pinball and his pinball machine. So that was quite an interesting use case, but there's more and more interesting use cases coming out about that product. We're also working on a medicine adherence sensor that we want to, so the idea of this sensor is that it will be a sensor that goes on pill packets and pill bottles, and you'll be able to tell when a patient has taken a medication or not. And the implications for that could be huge in knowing what drugs are administered, what drugs are taken, and then the whole map of that ecosystem. Do you want to know? Let me just stop sharing my screen. Hopefully you'll see me come up again. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Great. Do you want to know a little bit about the features of Pacif-I and what it does? Is there a nod of the head or a shake of the head or?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so the basic premise of Pacif-I is that it is a Bluetooth product. And the data that's held on Pacif-I is shared directly to a smart device that it's paired with. So then the parents use the Pacif-I and their smart device, and the information doesn't go anywhere else apart from if the parents or the nanny or someone who's caring for the child wants to share that information. And then it can be sent via CSV or a PDF. So the information is secure in that it is paired to the smartphone. So if you were in a room with somebody who had a Pacif-I, you wouldn't be able to see what the baby's temperature is. So it's not open data. It has a medicine tracker within the apps, which are iOS and Android, so that you can enter the time and date of any medication and how much medication that you give your child. So for example, if you give some ibuprofen, you can put in 5 mils, 10 mils, and then hopefully watch the trend of the temperature go down. You can also set within the apps alerts and reminders so that if you are giving your child medication, you can say, I want to give them some Calpol in 3 hours time, and then you can get an alert and a reminder to do that. And one really handy feature is that you can take the temperature of your child within the range, the Bluetooth range. Now, I don't know how much you all know about Bluetooth, but earlier this week, Bluetooth SIG released a statement to say that they were increasing the range of Bluetooth by 5-fold. So it would go from 50 meters, sorry, 4-fold, so from 50 meters line of sight to 200 meters line of sight. So that's going to greatly increase the usages of Bluetooth products. So with Pacif-I, you can take the temperature generally of your baby when they're in their room, in their cot, if they have Pacif-I and are sucking it. And you activate taking the temperature through the app. So the device sits dormant while the baby's sucking it, and then you say, hey, wake up and take the temperature, and then it does. Also, you can personalize the app, so you can put little photos and the name of your child, or put, if you've got twins or multiple children, you can put those in there also. One really great feature is that you can find the Pacif-I from the app. So children are notorious for losing Pacif-Is, and as our Pacif-I is 39 pounds, you don't want to lose it, obviously. So we've put a feature in so that you can find it and you can locate where the Pacif-I is. And then the Pacif-I beeps, and hopefully you'll be able to find it. If you're out of range, then what it does is a pin drops on a map, so you can go back to that location and find Pacif-I. The journey of developing a wearable device has been incredibly interesting. It has been physically stimulating. I mean, it's just, putting it all together, working with, building a team. I don't know how many of you build wearables or make wearables, or what space you're in, but in our team now, So we started with an idea, and in our team now we've got designers, app developers, people in sales and marketing. Then we've got a whole development team that we work with, and I probably missed out lots of different people in the team, but it's really great being a UK-based company that supports people doing lots of different things. We make these now in Shenzhen in China. Our first product, Tempo, we had molded and manufactured here in the UK. But we found that it's more cost effective to make these in Shenzhen, China, and then we ship out from there to wherever they're needed. But it's great sharing Pacif-I with you, and I know some of you might have some questions that you want to ask of any of the people that spoke. Just one other point, Pacif-I has been heavily tested and regulated. Lots of parents ask us, how safe is the product? I'm a parent of 3. I would never use anything that I didn't think was safe with my children. The FDA, the SARS that are emitted from Pacif-I is 1/100th of the amount of SARS that Simon is getting holding his smart device in his hand right now. So that's you, Simon. So it's a fairly certificated product. Yeah. So I hope that you enjoyed learning about my wearable. I hope that you'll, follow us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter and tell all your friends who have babies or who are about to have babies about our wearable device and how Blue Maestro is moving IoT into the future.
Right. Ooh, sorry.